What's going on? I'm headed to work. So, a lot of things transpired yesterday. You know, you had Stephen A. Smith basically go in on his arch enemy, his brother in Coonan, Jason Whitlock, and then you had Pat McAfee. Basically, it appears that he will no longer feature Aaron Rodgers, I guess, on his show for the time being because of comments he made in regards to Jimmy Kimmel. Now, I'm going to go in on Jimmy Kimmel and Aaron Rodgers at the same time. I can't really distinguish who I dislike even more, but it'd probably be Jimmy Kimmel. And then, of course, I'm going to talk about the latest excuse from Errol Spence regarding Terrence Crawford and basically how he, you know, at the end of the day, Errol Spence is just making himself look really bad. You know, his fans to a certain degree, and there were people that were trying to defend him and say, well, you know, Errol Spence ain't making excuses why he lost, but now he is making excuses. And then he tweeted something, and then he erased it like, oh, I had a shot a week before the fight. I had eye surgery. Now, Errol Spence is going to be out, like I said, at least 8 weeks, so that's 2 months. So they definitely won't be no Crawford-Spence rematch in February or March, April, May. Like I said, if we're lucky, you might could get this fight by summer's end. Maybe August, maybe September. Okay? Which, at this point, I don't even want to see a rematch. And Errol Spence is just coming across as just being a flat-out sore loser. And you got to just say that this. You know, because at the end of the day, I'm not worried about Errol Spence fans. Ain't nobody scared of them. Like I said before, I'm just keeping it a buck. For some reason, you know, it was a few of them, like I said before, for some apparent reason, I don't know what made them think that, where they think they can come on people's channels and try to bully them and get on chat lines and try to talk shit, knowing that they ain't gonna bust a grape, you know. So, but I'll get back to Errol Spence later, and it's something that I'm gonna end the video with as well that I'm gonna have to address, but I'll save that for last. But all right, so let's begin. All right, so I listened to Stephen A. Smith, you know, podcast where he basically went in on Jason Whitlock. I found it rather amusing, but at the same time, I found it kind of hypocritical where to some aspect he was criticizing Jason Whitlock. Now, he basically was trying to imply that Jason Whitlock was a sellout and an Uncle Tom and a coon. And you can make that argument about Stephen A. Smith being one. This man has long threw black people under the bus. He changed over the years. And I think there was an ongoing battle between Jason Whitlock and Stephen A. Smith, who was the biggest, you know, coon on TV, on sports TV. You could have made a legitimate argument for Stephen A. Smith versus Jason Whitlock. I saw the interview with Ticket TV and Jason Whitlock. I mean, Jason Whitlock does what he does. His tongue-in-cheek, condescending responses and answers. So, I mean, it was just Jason Whitlock being Jason Whitlock. And I'm glad that Ticket TV is getting those type of interviews because at the end of the day, he put in his work. You know, he worked hard to get where he is. And at the end of the day, I can't say nothing bad about Ticket TV because at the end of the day, Ticket TV gave me my start. So he helped put me on. So, you know, I owe Ticket TV a lot. So at the end of the day, I'm not really going to ever say nothing bad about Ticket TV because Ticket TV didn't even know me and he helped get me established. So, you know, one thing about me, I stay loyal, whether I disagree with people or not, or disagree with some of their stance on everything or certain things. I'm not gonna say everything. They stance on certain things, because one thing I have learned, we can agree to disagree at times as long as we have an overall goal, which is to better our people. It's all good. So, like I said, I won't ever be a fan of Jason Whitlock because it's just hard to like that dude. And I was just listening to some of the things that Stephen A. Smith said, and he said basically Jason Whitlock has ostracized himself to the point to where nobody wants to deal with him. It's so bad for him, even no matter how bad he's cooned, he still can't find work. And apparently nobody wants to work with him, according to Stephen A. Smith. But it was kind of funny listening to the whole podcast where he was referring to Jason Whitlock as a fat bastard. Now, I thought he was going to go in more than what I thought he was going to do, but he made us think that he was going to go on a full-fledged tirade, because at the end of the day, he went in on Jason Whitlock, but he still showed restraint. Because he couldn't really say what he wanted to say. He can't really say what I would refer to Jason Whitlock as, because at the end of the day, he still works for ESPN in the morning. Now, he says he owns the rights to the podcast, that he owns full rights. So he say that's his brand. And if I was Stephen A. Smith, I would really consider, just converting to that when my contract with ESPN is over. But, at the end of the day, Stephen A. Smith, he tries, throughout the podcast, he was referring to himself as, I'm a black man and I do this for black people. Well, okay, we know you black. But however, they've been times where you thrown us under the bus and didn't have our backs. You attacked us over the Jerry Jones thing when we had legitimate concerns about, hey, what was Jerry Jones doing at a Jim Crow rally, at a segregated rally? Because you tried to open up you tried to open up a passage for a lot of racists to try to come in and call themselves trying to get at the people that was questioning Jerry Jones. And of course, the sellout's gonna be sellout. But the people that came on my channel trying to, the white people and these non-blacks, the fake allies, which I'm gonna talk about that on another day and time. But it was most amusing to just listen to Stephen A. Smith. It was entertaining, because I really don't listen to Stephen A. Smith podcasts. I don't really listen to Stephen A. Smith, because Stephen A. Smith, he changed over the years. No matter how much he wants to try to play this game like he's still the same dude he was, the same fiery, passionate dude that he was when he first came about on ESPN, he's changed. As they added more zeros to his paycheck, he started to change. No matter how much he wants to play this role like he didn't compromise himself and that he didn't get bought to a certain degree, he did. And that's fine. That's fine. I've said this before, and I will say this again. Even Malcolm X said this. At the end of the day, we cannot really rely on celebrities to save us. And I've said this on several occasions. We can't expect celebrities to be our voices. We can't trust black politicians. That's been proven time and time again. And like I said, celebrities can only go so far, because at the end of the day, they don't own anything. They don't own an NFL. They don't own a Major League Baseball. They don't own an NBA. They don't own the NFL. So you only can be so pro-black until it gets to the point to where they'll remind you, like, who finances your projects? Who signs your paycheck? They'll give you a little leeway, but then they'll reel you back in. They'll give you a reminder. They'll give you that tap on the shoulder. Be like, wait, you doing a little too much. Until we emancipate ourselves and truly become independent to where we have our own, then at the end of the day, they're going to always be our overseers. And we going to always have to watch our back. And that's just real talk. And that's just the realest talk that I'm going to provide for you. I did enjoy listening to Stephen A. Smith. It was amusing to see him like going in on Jason Whitlock. It was funny. So, you know, with that being said, I just thought it was hilarious. You know, and he basically said nobody wants to work with him. Said he basically burned bridges with pretty much everybody. He didn't burn bridges. He like basically blew them up with like sticks of dynamite. Like he like, so like this dude is ostracized. He's bald. He's white bald. He's every type of bald you can think of. On top of the comment he made about, you know, but we'll leave that alone. We'll leave that alone. We're not going to go there. We'll leave that alone. You know, so it's funny that Jason Whitlock, you know, it was funny just listening to Jason Whitlock on Ticket TV's channel. So, you know, like I said before, it's an advancement for Ticket TV. I'm glad he's reaching that level. Hopefully and that's the good thing about Ticket TV. He's his own entity. So, you know, he doesn't, you know, he works for himself. And Ticket is paid. I know that for sure. So I know that for sure. But, you know, that's a good thing for him, you know. But nevertheless, you know, I'll get back to that later on. Possibly I'll do some videos. Probably not today. This will probably be the only stream/video I'm going to do today because I got some stuff I got to do today. But I'll probably be back at it like tomorrow. So, okay, so let me talk about this thing with Jimmy Kimmel and Aaron Rodgers. You know, I'm not going to lie. I'm not a big fan of Jimmy Kimmel, and I'm not a big fan of Aaron Rodgers because, you know, Aaron Rodgers, he does have this mentality that he's the smartest dude in the room. And, you know, Aaron Rodgers is a conspiracist, and that's fine. Because based off some of the stuff that I've been seeing, some of these so-called conspiracies seem to be actual reality. You've been hearing about a lot of different things in various places. You've been hearing about possible alien sightings, actually aliens walking around, and then it's being brushed off, a whole bunch of different other things. Then, you know, the whole situation about, you know, the potion. You know, I really don't want to go in deep about that. So then, you know, I didn't like what he said about Kyrie Irving. And then Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he got enough criticism for basically lying about taking a potion. He should have just said, I didn't take it. Now, keep in mind, NFL players wasn't required to take it anyway to begin with. You know, most of them wasn't required. You had some that, you know, that got religious exemptions and stuff. But, you know, I really don't want to relive 2020, 2021 because, you know, that was just terrible. You know, it was just terrible. So, you know, I really don't want to relive that. But Jimmy Kimmel is a straight up bitch. Now, this dude threatened Aaron Rodgers with legal action about the Epstein stuff. Now, Jimmy Kimmel then said and did a lot of racist stuff towards black people. He disrespected black people quite a few times over the years. Now, for people that's going to listen to this video and that's going to say, oh, well, he apologized. So what? So what? And it was sort of like a tongue-in-cheek apology as well. For years, he disrespected black people, made fun of them. Now, it's funny, when somebody say something about him, he want to go get lawyers and all this stuff. And see, this is what I'll say about comedians. They can dish it out, but they can't take it. Soon as somebody say something about him, then all of a sudden he talking about lawyers and all this kind of stuff. But then you have these comedians that think they have the free range to say whatever they want to say, like they have immunity or something. You know what I'm saying? From not being able to be held accountable when they say something out of pocket. And nah, it doesn't work like that, bruh. You just can't say whatever you want to say and try to hide behind the fact that you are a comedian, because the thing ain't a laughing matter. And when I hear people say, oh, people need to learn how to take a joke, why don't you shut the fuck up? People love talking that stuff about what other people need to do till it happens to them. Then all of a sudden, they understand, but they quick to holler about what other people need to do. And that's what you have going on right now. You know, you have a lot of people that feel like they have the right to do whatever they want to do because they feel like they can do it. And they feel like they're accountable or suffer the consequences for their actions. And that's just real talk. That's, you know, and then they try to guilt trip you and try to say, oh, you know, I should be able to disrespect you, call you out your name, you know, and if you respond to me disrespecting you, harassing you, you're sensitive and all that kind of stuff, which is absolutely absurd. And that's what you call pure insanity when somebody even tries to pull that with you. At the end of the day, there's going to always be a time where you're going to be sensitive to certain stuff. You have to be sensitive to a certain degree. You have to be, I mean, so can we stop playing these type of games that, you know what I'm saying, you're emotionless? Because if that's the case, then you're a robot then. You know, that's just real talk. So can we stop these games? But yeah, Jimmy Kimmel just got a history of just doing and saying racist stuff. But like I said before, it's always been this thing where it's a free-for-all when it pertains to making fun of black people. And then you get these whites, these sellouts and these non-blacks that try to say you guys are sensitive and all that stuff. But then as soon as you say something about a dude, you know, pertaining to his Spanish background or his Asian background or whatever it is, then all of a sudden, then they say, oh, you shouldn't say stuff like that. And then our biggest problem is sitting up here having conversations with other groups thinking that they're our allies and they're not our allies. I'm serious. I don't discuss black stuff, black business with non-blacks, because I don't expect you to understand what's going on with my group. At the end of the day, I may listen to what's going on with your group, but at the end of the day, I just got to keep it a buck. It's not my problem, because my people got problems and I got to fix the problems with my community. You know, it's like this. Everybody got to hold their own nuts. And the problem is with black people want to hold everybody else's nuts except theirs. We far removed from say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Like I say, black people is fixated with wanting to help everybody else and thinking if we help everybody else, we gonna have this thing where we think that's gonna get us allies. And at the end of the day, a lot of people just align themselves with us just to learn us and then take back some of the knowledge they get with us and get from us and basically take it to their community to help their community and get stuff for their community. I don't say minorities. When I talk about stuff that I need, I say stuff that black people need. And we got to stop being ashamed to say the word black. And that's real talk. I told you, I'm not going, what the hell it looked like me being worried about some Hispanic or some Asian or some black trying to make me feel bad about helping my own people. And like I said before, we got to stop trying to explain ourselves to everybody. Like I said, I don't owe no Hispanic no explanation when I want to help my people. Y'all don't give us no explanation. How many times y'all be saying, oh, we don't have to explain nothing to you black people. Okay, cool. We don't have to explain nothing to you non-blacks when we do something for our people. Basically, what I'm saying is, stay the fuck out of our business. Mind your own goddamn business. That's just real talk. Take it however you want. But yeah, just get back to the Jimmy Kimmel thing. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel did show that he's, you know what I'm saying? He fake. Why you so worried about the Jeffrey Epstein? You should have laughed. You should have said, "Come on, Aaron." But all of a sudden, you got spooked because I guess as the names start to pop up that's on that list, people get nervous. So it must be pretty bad. Must be something to it. As Macho Man used to say, you must got something to hide. But, we'll see. All right, so let me get to another subject. I just got to say this, man. At the end of the day, Errol Spence and his fans is just looking really bad right now. It is just a new excuse. It is just a new excuse every week about what went wrong in the Terrence Crawford fight. You done heard everything from malnutrition to, water, weight drained. It's just something new. Now, Errol Spence tweeted something saying that, I had to get a shot before the fight. Then you heard about a hike. Then you heard about, you needed to get eye surgery. Your eye was messed up. Do you know how? And then Terrence Crawford and Ishai Smith basically kind of outed Errol Spence for basically fronting. And like I said, can you imagine if Terrence Crawford made all the excuses? Can you imagine if Terrence Crawford had made all the excuses that Errol Spence has made and his fans have made since this fight happened? I thought when this fight first got announced, up into the fight and after the fight, I thought it was going to be may the best man win. But when Terrence Crawford beat the holy hell out of Errol Spence, you heard people say that Terrence Crawford is on steroids. And you've been hearing a lot of dudes lying, implying stuff about Terrence Crawford. And then, like I said, you got certain people that just made video after video implying that Errol Spence got cheated by Terrence Crawford, which at the end of the day, you basically stepping in the lawsuit territory by making accusations that you can't prove, because that's defamation. And I really think some of these dudes have a very Skittles suspect infatuation with Terrence Crawford. I just think that's weird. But that's all you've heard the last 6 months is just excuse the unbelievable happened that Terrence Crawford actually had a chance of winning this fight. Because basically the wrong guy won. And that's what the problem is. The Errol Spence fans cannot fathom the thought that Terrence Crawford was just the better man. And after the fight, they started crying. You saw dudes making videos. Oh, it's not fair. If they have to fight at 147, because Errol Spence can't make the weight. That's not Terrence Crawford's problem. All this stuff about, Errol Spence didn't properly train and all this stuff, it's not, listen, once again, I'm going to say this for you deep dummies, as Red Fox would say. It's not Terrence Crawford's fucking job to make sure Errol Spence is properly trained. So he's supposed to call him on the phone and be like, hey, Errol, all Terrence Crawford got to worry about is Errol Spence making weight, getting into the ring, and fighting. Once that bell ring, until the final bell ring, whether it's a conclusion via stoppage or going the distance, that's all Terrence Crawford got to worry about, is how he gonna win that fight. And it's really that simple. But all you didn't hurt, and like I said, the Errol Spence losers too, they just as bad as Errol Spence. And like I said before, I'm gonna say this. I don't care if Errol Spence is listening to this video. I mean, I'm gonna say it for real. I mean, if Errol Spence listening to this video, he say he don't want to do an interview with me, I don't care. I'm gonna say this to some of you fighters who say, oh, I ain't gonna do an interview with him. Maybe I don't want to interview you. Maybe I don't want to talk to you. Have you ever thought that? Maybe I don't want to interview you. I'll be fine whether you talk to me or not. I'm not going to run off crying and boo-hooing because somebody said they ain't going to do an interview. Me, one thing, like I said, when you do this boxing stuff, a lot of these boxers, they can dish it out, but they can't take it. They love it when you sitting up there kissing their ass. When you saying they the best thing since sliced bread. And if you just lightly critique them and just say, hey, well, I thought this happened, that happened. Oh, man, you don't know nothing about boxing. You don't know itch about boxing. Y'all don't know nothing about, like, damn, dude. That's just real talk. All of a sudden, the narrative changes. All of a sudden, they don't like you anymore. All of a sudden, they say you hating on them. So, it's just really disappointing to just see how Errol Spence and his fanboys have conducted themselves. You literally had dudes making videos crying, oh, that's not fair. Man, let Errol Spence come up to 154. Listen, they negotiated. It was in the contract. Once again, it was put in the contract. Whoever won the fight, if there was a rematch, the winner got to pick the weight class. So why all of a sudden you dudes trying to tell somebody not to honor a contract? And this is what I mean about you fake pro-black niggas. All of a sudden now you calling people jigaboos, you calling people coons and all this kind of stuff. But you the same niggas that was trying to devalue Terrence Crawford. You the same niggas that was seeing how the PBC was trying to devalue Terrence Crawford. You the same niggas that didn't say nothing about how these black fighters were getting put on the back burner and how they wasn't being featured on a lot of these pay-per-views. You guys didn't say shit. So where was your beret, your leather jacket, and your black gloves? You guys are hilarious. You guys are laughable. I mean, you guys are pure stand-up comedy. It's just laughable. Now all of a sudden you want to talk this black stuff. I told you, if you're going to be on that tip, you got to be on that stuff 24 hours a day, all the time. Y'all, it's funny. People didn't say, you know, everybody has something to say about Terrence Crawford. But like I said before, when Jamel Charlo was saying all the stuff he was saying, you didn't see no videos get made about him. But at the end of the day, you guys helped get Terrence Crawford where he was because you kept making videos about Terrence Crawford. And you finna do the same for Devin Haney. You finna prove that Devin Haney is a commodity. Like I said, a lot of you dudes is puppets, poodles. Y'all soft as, y'all soft as Charmin. People sitting up here, they want to see Devin Haney versus Tank or possibly, you know, some other people, but y'all sitting up here talking about, oh, Devin Haney only sold 30,000 pay-per-views. So you basically going off the word of Ryan Garcia, a Mexican who don't know what. And my thing is, what did Ryan Garcia sell? What was Ryan Garcia's pay-per-view numbers? What was his streaming numbers for his last fight? How many tickets did he sell? Okay. Even Ryan Garcia's own daddy said that, you know what I'm saying, that Ryan would be the B-side. So, you know, I'm just saying, man, y'all don't be having the same energy, man, and that's just real talk. But I'm gonna say this, and I'm finna end this, and I'm finna prove that you dudes are fake pro-black. So is anybody gonna make videos in regards to some of that stuff that Teofimo Lopez just said? Now he made a comment about yo God Al Heyman. So where are all these videos at calling Teofimo out? But y'all love to make videos trying to insinuate anybody that talk about Al Heyman is a coon. Said he told Terrence Crawford, oh man, you need to get out of that track with